Good morning, and welcome to Monday Morning Coffee Chat. How is my sound?
Good.
Beautiful.
Okay, good, because I have dropped my mic twice this weekend of all the weird things to do. I have never, but it's just been like in the way or something. So, good morning, welcome. And today we are joined by the beautiful LaShall Dodson. And I have to tell you that just a little bit of backstory on LaShall and I. We she commented on something on Facebook. Like, I think somebody, and correct me if I'm wrong, LaShall, somebody posted something like follow for follow or something along those lines, I think. And I was like, yeah, no, girl, that's not how it works. In my mind, I said that, and I scroll through the comments, and she had literally typed exactly what I thought. And I'm like, okay, we're soulmates. I hopped over. I'm like, hey, we need to meet. Thank you for being honest and true in your business practices and putting that out there, because you see that all the time. And yet I know everybody that's here. I know you on a personal level, and I know all of you are here to actually build a business, right? And you know that your number of followers has nothing to do with the number of connections you actually make. And so this is going to be a great Monday morning coffee chat. LaShall, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? If you can follow up my introduction.
Thank you so much. Oh, so I'm so happy to be here and meet everyone. So my name's LaShall Dodson, founder and CEO of Dedicated Virtual Professional Services. I previously was in the corporate world for years and years and lost my job back in January of last year. So I decided, I'm tired of all the mergers and acquisitions of corporate, started my own business. And really kind of never looked back. I was very fortunate because with my corporate job, they gave me a year's severance. So I'm like, okay, let's take that year's severance and really just do what I've always wanted to do, which is, become an entrepreneur, build a business. So that's where we're at today.
And so tell us, I know you're like the jack of all trades kind of, right? But tell us a little more about your favorite parts of your business.
Yeah, so really my favorite part is I feel like I have a superpower where I can kind of look at a business and figure out the pieces and parts that aren't working for people. So I can take a look at your business and look at your onboarding, your operations, your leadership, your marketing, all of those pieces and say, okay, we need to set up a system here. We need to do some marketing here, and here's what kind of marketing you need to do. And over here, we need to kind of hone in your launch strategy, or we need to create a process around this versus doing everything manually. So I had a ton of experience with that in corporate because I worked for Fortune 500 companies. We would buy and sell all the time. And I was the one that they kind of brought in and said, okay, here's this new company we bought. Now make them fit into our 12,000 people company. Right. So it was a lot about putting the right people on the right seats on the bus, improving processes, streamlining strategy, all of that.
Yeah, so that's a lot. It's a lot, but I think that you do it well. We've had one-on-ones and talked a lot. And I think that in some aspects of your business, ours kind of collide. I am going to take a second. And I don't know why I'm echoing now that Chanel came on. Hey, Chanel, I'm going to mute everybody except the speaker. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yep, I can. So our VA asked us to do that because it seems like if somebody shuffles around in the background, then the video scans to them instead of allowing us to make good clips afterwards. We're getting people going and things like that. So we're just gonna keep you muted, and then if you have something to contribute, which we want everybody to contribute, please just raise your hand and I will unmute you or ask you to unmute or something. I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so let's start with this. Does anybody feel stuck in their business? A little bit stuck? Everybody has clear direction where they're going. Gosh, LaShall, what do you say to these people? Have clear.
Right, right. Okay, so none of you have any questions on your onboarding procedures, any operations things, marketing. Hey, I run Facebook ads. Somebody always has an ads question, right? We do email marketing. We could talk about systems. Who's struggling?
Nobody. Oh, there we go. Karen raises her hand. Let's see. I can't even
So
find
I
Karen.
think I can, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. Yep. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So I have a list that I've built over many years or whatever, my email list. And I get like a 40% open rate. Sometimes I'll resend an email, good open rate, but it's kind of a dead list. It just doesn't generate any responses. It doesn't, it's sort of like, so anyway, so I'm just looking for any feedback on there. Is there a way to revive a list, or do you just need to just say, just unsubscribe people if you, I don't know. I did that. I actually did that one time. I sent an email and the subject line said, please unsubscribe. And I was saying, I want this to have value for you. If it doesn't have value for unsubscribe, why are people that unsubscribe that it was like, did you really mean to unsubscribe? I guess they listened to what I said in the subject line. I don't think they read the emails like, okay, well, case in point, be careful what you ask for.
So Karen, I want to address this first to start with what's the content in your email, because one of the things that I try to have my clients do all the time is to make it interactive, because you do want to build those relationships. So are you strictly putting out information, or are you putting out information that leads them back to something else? Because, and LaShall, feel free to correct me at any point, but I feel like when you have a link in there that maybe goes to your blog, or maybe goes to a social media post, or maybe goes to your calendar, or wherever it's going to go, they're moving around inside your system. It's building the relationship. It's also building the relationship between the computers. And so when they go to type something in, you're going to be the one that pops up, because that's basis is going in there when they're going back and forth in your stuff. And so, and I don't know if I did it. I don't see my client in here, so I can just say that. I don't know if I created this email or she did, but we were looking at her emails this morning. I'm like, well, this is a bad one. And she's just kind of like, oh, what's bad about it? I'm like, well, there's no links. There's no exterior links. It's not taking you anywhere else. And so there's nothing for people to look at or be curious about enough to get further information. And I still don't know if it was hers or mine, but she said she would fix it. So we left it at that. But LaShall, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same thing, right? You need them to take an action. First of all, 40% is a really great open rate. So congratulations there. If you're getting a 40% open rate, can you also see what your click-through rate is?
Usually the clicks are 1 or 2%.
1 or 2%. Okay. All right. So yeah. So back to what Colleen said, we want to put some action steps in there, right? If you have a website, you can link to in there. You can link to your calendar. If you write blog posts, you can link to those. You can link to a freebie, right? Or sign up for a newsletter, or basically take them off platform somewhere. So it's something interactive for them to click through.
So I not want them to have a click. So when they're getting an email and it's taking them back to my website, either to my store or to a blog or whatever, is that considered an external link then?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything that takes them outside your email. And sometimes I feel like if you are at a loss as to what to share, and I've told my clients this, especially some who are in a product-based business, then I'll say, link them back to a product and tell them about that product. Give them more information. Link them to an article about a product. Link them to a like an informational one inside Avon or inside LifeVantage, or maybe link them to a news article that talks about health benefits of something. Just tie it in that way creatively. And if you have a hard time doing that, you can always use your AI and just say, hey, I'm at a loss for my email. I want to link it to something. Can you find me a wellness article, or can you find me this kind of article, and have it find it for you? And then of course, go through and read it, make sure your link works and all of the things. But yeah, I think that is very helpful too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the one thing that I've done in my emails that I heard somewhere in, whatever, is don't ask them to do more than one thing, because confused mind does nothing. So usually I'll only have, a link to the blog, although the image will link to the blog as well as I have a button that'll link to the blog. So, or whatever is going in. So it's not asking them to make a decision on which of the many things I could offer that they want to take advantage of, which is 0, but anyway.
And the other thing you can do within your email or newsletter is create a hot topic section. So you talk about something that's a hot topic in the industry, or like Colleen said, you link them back to an article or something there. But it's just kind of giving them a little more insight to what you do, but almost from a third party, right? Because it's coming from a hot topic outside of your business.
Okay.
I like that, LaShall. I like that. And Karen, I would also add that, like, I think that that's a good rule of thumb to not confuse them in your email, unless it's a newsletter. And then in your newsletter, you're doing categories. And so I have some people that go to my newsletter and repeatedly click the tools, right? And those are people that are coming to find the tools. They might not ever click the blog, but I have another group of people that go click the blog every time. And so my newsletter is one example of that, where I do have like a link to my Monday morning coffee chat is in there, a link to my blog is in there, and a link to tools is in there, so that people have options, but the people that are reading through that know what they're looking for. Right. So I think it's one of those rules that can go either way. I did see in the chat that Jessica put something. Jessica, are you able to unmute yourself and just ask your question?
Hi, yes. I just wanted to hear a little bit about your processes or recommendations for onboarding for new clients.
Yeah, so for onboarding new clients, automation, right? Automation is key. We need a welcome email to go out to them, first of all. So you're going to have your contract, your invoice, all of that signed. Are you in the online space? Are you doing products or services?
I'm online.
Products or services?
Coaching.
Coaching. Okay. Yep. So we're services. All right. Perfect. So yeah. So contract invoice, obviously, then you're going to do a welcome series after that. So a welcome email goes out to them, which is really kind of just welcoming them to your world. Then you kind of want to do a housekeeping email. I have automated where mine then also goes out for them to book their first call, right? So we do like an onboarding call where we go through all the housekeeping things as well. And then from an onboarding perspective, I also recommend, especially if they're not going to book or see you or do that first action with you for a couple weeks, you have a little nurture sequence in there. So really that's just kind of telling them more about you, about your business, and about all the things that you offer and what to expect in what they just signed up for. So sometimes if people have a team and we have a team that's going to work on it, we have them kind of a meet the team section where it kind of explains what everybody does. But what's really powerful and really helpful in that kind of onboarding email sequence to nurture them is it's getting them ready for that initial call. So one is housekeeping, right? And then number 2 is next steps on what to expect throughout this process. So if they signed up for a 3-month coaching package, it just kind of really explains everything to them. And then to continue with the onboarding, I do recommend a series of surveys throughout your, like let's say it's a 3-month package, right? Month 1, you're going to send them a survey kind of towards the end of that month about how things have gone. What did they think of the onboarding process? Is there anything they'd like to be covering differently? And then month 2 can just be another touch point. And then month 3, if it was a 3-month contract, you'd want to have a touch point through there about renewing their contract. And you can do all of that through automation. It's not like you have to jump on calls for all of that stuff. And that's the beauty of automating all of that onboarding stuff and then all of those nurture sequences.
And I would add too that sometimes I have done, and I know that I'm a little bit weird, but like I was on Canva creating things, just playing around, and I created a little door knocker that I really liked. Like you hang it on your doorknob and it says, please don't disturb unless, and I just thought it was funny. And I put some little funny things in there. And then I reached out to everybody on my email list and just said, hey, I just was creating this and thought you might like to have it. You can print it off and cut it out, laminate it, hang it on your door, keep people away so you can stay focused, just little personal outreaches too, like that seem something they're not expecting, and something that's not always businessy, but is businessy, but on a more personal level to build that relationship, right?
Yep, for sure. And a lot of people incorporate a gift, when a client signs with them, it's a gift, and it could be something as simple as Colleen just said, right? Something you created in Canva and you gave them as a gift versus a monetary, hey, let me send you something like that.
And that's interesting that you bring that up, because I just got this card, super cute card. This is one of my clients, and it's for my birthday, and my birthday was late, and she put a little note in it and sent me 2 gourmet brownies for my birthday. And it was totally unexpected, but I thought, what a nice touch, and she's actually going to be linked in my membership community, so that if any of my members want to have access to these kinds of things, they can do that inside my membership community. But I thought that was really a nice touch, because so often we do everything virtual now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so really, what are we getting in the mail? Just bills. And so to get a card was nice. I like it.
Yeah, very nice. And I got a couple high ticket clients that their products are high ticket. Not that they're high ticket for me, but that the products they sell are high ticket. And they do that as well. They send gifts through the mail, very thoughtful, picked out, individualized gifts, because they're interior designers. So they send something very unique, and they send it via mail so that you get that extra touch point.
Right, LaShall. And even I have had a couple of different people that I've worked with that have just sent me a card thanking me for my purchase of their service, and they've signed it. They've actually signed it. And I thought, well, that's okay. That is so far removed from what we're doing virtually that it's just such a nice breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm. It always puts a smile on your face. So you think about how it makes you feel. How would it make your clients feel, right?
Exactly. And really, I think that in a world where we're trying to differentiate our business from everybody else's, it's the little things that make a difference.
Right.
It's those acknowledgments. It's that when a client calls in and says, I'm in a panic, I need 5 minutes. Do you actually drop and do 5 minutes, or do you say, I'll get back to you this afternoon, I'm doing this or that, and I know that sometimes we are busy, but I think it's important to take the time and do that, to build those connections. And that when you do that, and Karen, this goes back to you, my experience has been, and I'd love to hear everybody else's experience, but my experience has been, when I do the extra things, when I send a card, when I drop when they need me, when I reach out when it's unnecessary with a little gift, if it's a digital gift or whatever, that increases my open rate on my emails.
It does.
Regular.
And and you know what? It makes you feel good too. It makes you feel good.
It does. And I can tell you that when I was scrolling through my list of people to invite to the coffee chat this morning, when you have an invite inside your group or an event, and you can go through and invite people. And I thought, okay, well, here were my thoughts. I know they have a meeting this morning. They have a meeting this morning. Okay, no, let's invite her, because she's really in a place where this specific information could be helpful to her. Let's invite her. And as I went down through that, I really knew the people on my list and in my group. And that is just such a good feeling to actually know them and be like, hey, yeah. And then also to be able to say to them afterwards, hey, this coffee chat was amazing, and I know that it really would resonate with you, so I'm going to go ahead and send it to you. I know you have a standard meeting every Monday morning, but you'll want to check this out sometime and be able to send it, so it's about building those relationships and having good click rates and good open rates on your emails, because you've built those relationships.
Yeah. And like this weekend, I was searching through social media, and one of my clients is pregnant. She's due next month. And I found her baby registry that she had on social media. So I went on and I spent $100 and ordered her some stuff off of her registry, and it's being delivered this week. Just something as simple as that, just for no reason other than she's been a client for a while. I happen to see it. I want to, acknowledge and congratulate her.
And I want to go back to the fact that, LaShall, you had asked, are you in a product business or a service business? And the truth of the matter is, every single one of us here is in the service industry. If you are not serving your clients, it doesn't matter what you're selling. If you are serving them, you're going to sell a lot better. So let me throw this out there too. One of the times that I felt like, oh, hey, look, they really liked what I did. I went to LinkedIn and somebody had endorsed me. And there's this, who even cares about that, right? But if you go to people, like I take it, so once a week I go onto LinkedIn and I go through my connections and I scroll down on their page to endorse, and I endorse the things that I know they're good at. Literally, it takes 2 seconds. It's not a big deal. But just send some endorsements so that they're like, oh, hey, she was thinking of me, you know? Oh, she thought good of me. Small things like that. Does anybody else have small things that we can do that make big movement in our business?
I can say something. Good morning, everybody. One thing I've learned over the past 10 years to do is to really show up more for others than yourself. And part of that is really checking in with clients outside of business. So each and every month, we know how many clients our kids, they have as far as family, how many children, where they're located, because we built those relationships. So during the holiday season, I'll send out a holiday email just to those clients, and they appreciate that because it's not just me collecting their money each and every month. I'm actually building out good rapport with them. And I've learned that those relationships are currency within itself, not the actual money you're getting paid. So if I needed anything, I can go to Vegas, have a growth partner there, South Carolina, wherever. I can tell because of how I'm relating to them versus just getting money from them. I'm actually sharing, like, look, we're celebrating holidays together. How's it going? You traveling anywhere? Having those conversations, the little things equals big wins. So that's one thing that I do that is different.
I love that. Anybody else? Catherine, go ahead, but go ahead and unmute yourself.
So it's an individual customized response that I have based on getting to know somebody and connect with them because of my many years, decades of experience at different things. I can connect with practically everybody. But what I love to do, aside from adding value as soon as possible, like mentioning other networking groups, if they're interested in that. If they're at a networking event, I'll mention other networking groups that might be a good fit for them. But I love to pay real compliments.
Yes.
And even get into affirmations where maybe somebody is relatively new, a little nervous. Really, I meet some great people, and I still show caring about the people I meet. My spiritual path is service.
I love that, Catherine. I think that when you're saying affirmations, what I hear you say is that you can say, oh, you are so good at what you're doing. You are excelling in this area. And the importance of that on a personal level is that when you relax, those are the thoughts that come back to your mind. And so as a business owner, when you relax, you can remember at the end of the day that was such a highlight, that Catherine thinks I'm this. And it helps you, just like when we're raising children, it helps you want to rise to be that. Even if you have self-doubt that you are there, right? It really helps you want to rise to the occasion on that.
Like, for example, many years ago, I gifted a woman with a book of poetry. And it's part of that was the poetry book mentioned that the reader is a special woman. Years and years later, I happened to run into the same woman again, and she remembered the book. She remembered that somebody told her she was special. I love books, and I'm always recommending books to people for one purpose or another. So that as far as I go, maybe giving a book or two that's relevant would be a good gift.
I love that. And I've actually had a couple of clients that sent me books. One sent me a book that she's a part of. Another one sent me a book that she co-authored, and somebody else sent me a book they just thought I would love. And I just thought that's just nice. And, the one that sent one that they just loved came from Amazon, but she did send a little note with it. So I just taped it inside the book, kind of pretended it was an inscription, right? Does anybody else have anything that we can do or that you do, that you practice, that maybe you feel like isn't that big a deal, but we'd love to hear? Yeah, go ahead, Diane. Unmute yourself.
So I'm in the health and wellness space, and I'm really identifying that people are moving from email to text. I mean, so many people don't open their email box because it's got too much stuff in it, but they live and die by their phone and by text messages. And I check in with people pretty regularly to see just how they're doing, how they're feeling. Are they, do they have any questions? Do they need any help? And that is so anti what the medical complex does when they give a prescription. You never hear from them again, right? And it was really interesting because my daughter came home the other day having sprained her calf, and they gave her some of this cream, and it was like one application and she had an allergic reaction and couldn't use it. And I'm like, why did you even buy it with what I do? But the interesting thing was she will never be able to, I mean, it'll be 3 months before she can even tell that doctor, and it won't even matter because they can't take it back. They can't, do anything. So that checking in, even if it's just a 1 sentence, text, because then the person on the other end can say, yes, I need some help, or yes, I would like to thank you for checking on me, that kind of thing. So that really
I
is
love
working.
that, Diane. I love that. And I'm going to just call Lynn out here because, and I just love that I look out here and I know all of you. I do not know Ellen, but I'm going to change that. Lynn sends text. I get texts from Lynn that say just, hey, heidi ho, how you doing? I get text from Rob, your financial security guard, bodyguard. What are you, Rob? What are you? Tell me. You're muted. That's what you are.
I know. I'm your health and wealth bodyguard.
There you go.
Where there's no violence in that, it's just all about protection.
Yeah, so I get texts from them, but then I want to go back to Diane. And so one of the things that Diane does, and I haven't heard anybody mention, and I love, so she invited me to go to a meeting. It wasn't like AA, but it was it was networking. But she didn't just invite me or send me a link. She found out when I would be there and she went with me.
Oh, in
And
person,
that
very
was-
nice.
That was so nice. No, it wasn't in person, it was virtual. But
Oh.
at least I didn't walk into a room full of people I didn't know.
Mhm.
And I don't know why that matters. At 55 years old, am I 55? I'm 55. At 55 years old, why does it matter? Why can't I walk in a room by myself? I can, and I can do it confidently, but it's comforting. And I felt like, oh, she remembers she invited me. That's so nice, So just those little things, I think, really kind of move the needle. LaShall, what else do you have for us? I'd like to know about Facebook ads, and I'll just dive in and tell you why. I hired somebody big ticket to do some ads for me, and they said, well, this ad, they created them. And then I said, ooh, I don't like this one. They created 3. I said, ooh, I don't like this one. Like I would never in a million years click on this one. I like these 2. They really seem to fit my brand. And so they ran the ads and they came back and they said, wow, this one's doing really good. And I said, what does really good mean? So I think in a couple of days it got 500 clicks, but that was it. Then it was dead because it went to my landing page, which didn't look at all like my ad that they were clicking. And I said to them, there's the problem right here is that I'm not represented correctly. And they said, no. See, the ad is selling. The ad is bringing people in. So you need to change your landing page over here to match the ad so that you can convert. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Thank you. And not that I don't want to change your landing page because I'm all about developing and growing and I'm okay with making changes, but it has to resonate with who I am. And I think that so many of us are trying to get the sale that we're forgetting that we are the sale.
Yep.
And we have to be us. And if
Mhm.
people aren't, I would rather have only get, oh yeah, it's not Ken. Don't worry. It wasn't my VA Ken that did that. Just to make it clear. Sorry, Ken. I see you put that in the chat. And just to make it, we have to be able to be okay with only getting 35 clicks and knowing that maybe we'll get 5 clients from that.
Yep.
So much better than 500 clicks and not getting anybody,
Yeah, and that's just it, right? So clicks don't necessarily mean leads or sales. And you would want to take a look at, first of all, what type of campaign were they running? Maybe they were only running an awareness campaign, right? Which is really top of funnel and you're only attracting people in, and none of those people are going to buy from you. They're not warm, they're not ready yet. So one, it would be, did they run the right kind of campaign? So if you were looking for leads, were they running a lead or sales campaign over an awareness or a traffic campaign? So that's like number one. It's good that the creative was doing really well. Now, in your copy, what we're seeing work right now is long form copy and copy that really sells within the copy before they ever get to your landing page. And I'm not talking a hard sale, like click here, buy now. It's education about what your offer is and about that landing page that they're taking you to. So if your copy was just very generic and didn't have that long form and that education, that picture, the creative, didn't do much to bring them into your world and warm them up and get them ready to buy. It got them to stop and click and, oh, I really like this picture, but that was it, you know? And then what I like to do with my clients is I like to look at their landing pages myself, right? Do we have symmetry between what we're putting out in the ad and with your landing page? And what's the rest of your funnel look like? Because I've had clients where we've brought in a ton of leads and then they have a terrible follow-up system. So they have nobody reaching back out to people. They've got no automated emails going out. They've got no way for them to book a discovery call unless somebody reaches out to them to book it, you know, and that's a whole nother problem in itself. And a lot of times what you do see is when you go off platform, when you go off Meta, which, okay, what I mean by off platform is you're going to drive them to a specific landing page, right? Versus doing an instant form within Meta. If you take them off platform, you're already going to lose some conversions because the more times people have to click, the more you lose them. And I just had a conversation with a client Friday about this. We had ads running and they were instant form ads. So that's a form within Meta that if somebody sees your ad, they can click on that and they get this little pop-up and they just fill out specific information. Conversion rates for those are really, really good. But they said, oh, we want to take this to our website, drive our website traffic, and we've created this new landing page, and then we're going to make them fill out a HoneyBook form, and then we're going to make them book an appointment before they can submit that HoneyBook form. And I'm like, okay, time out. It's not going to work. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to work. You're taking them too many steps. You're making them do too many things. And as soon as you do that, you lose them. You're going to lose them as soon as you show them the landing page and want them to take one more click. So my recommendation is always, that's fine. You can drive them to a landing page, but that landing page better right then and there collect what you need, whether it's their email, their address, or the book a call right then and there. Don't make them click 2 more times. So I said to the client, pull up your Wix, because they have a Wix website, and this was all Friday. And I'm like, my guess is let's go look at the metrics. I put pixel data on everything. So that's the other thing. You want to make sure you're tracking, right? So I said, I want to go see that activity. Show me the landing page activity. We were getting 79% of the people who saw the ad and clicked on it went to that first page, the landing page. You want to know what happened after that? 5% of the people clicked on the next buttons. So I'm like, it's not the Facebook ad that is your problem. Right there, you're losing your audience after your first page. So page 1, I'm not saying the copy on page 1 is bad at all because it's actually pretty good stuff you have there. But now you're telling them to click this button, fill out this long ass form, and then book a call all before they submit. And you've just asked them to do too much and you've lost them. And now you never collected anything to follow up with them on. So really it's a lost lead. Yeah, Colleen, sorry, I get all excited.
No, that's good. I love that you're passionate about what you do. I wouldn't have brought you here if you weren't. So what I'm hearing is a couple of things. Is a pop-up okay then? When they get to the landing page, immediately there's a pop-up, name, email, address, submit.
Yep, that is.
Okay, and did I hear you say correctly, and I want my dear dead mother to hear this too, that those of us who were in kindergarten and got that report card that went home that said, really nice girl, but she talks a lot, this is our time to shine?
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
I've been waiting for this.
Long form copy is working.
I've been waiting for this. And when they were telling us before, make everything short, just get right to the point. And I was like, boy, are they going to be shocked when they actually meet me.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Long form is what works, and then personalized. So we're also seeing what works is pictures of you, videos of you. That stuff does way better than a static, AI created image. They're great. They have their place. They're more for awareness campaigns, right? Your top of the
Yep.
funnel, bring the people into your world. And you can run a combo of ads. You can run an awareness ad like that to bring somebody in. And then I like to stack a second ad to then get me that lead, get me that email, get me that person's name, right then and there so I can follow up. So
So I
what
love this. One of the things that we talk, well, go ahead and finish, then I'll.
what I did with the client that we were having issues with. Now her and I were seeing, I was bringing her between 12 and 20 leads a week from her ads when we were on instant form. That's per week. We had emails, we had how much their budget was, we had everything I was collecting. When she switched over and started doing it the other way, 2 ads a month. A month.
2 leads a month?
Two leads a month. 2 leads a month. Yes, sorry. So on Friday, I switched everything back up. I said, we'll keep those running because they are getting a ton of impressions and a ton of clicks, and we're driving website traffic. Let's keep those running. But I want to turn back on the instant forms. I turned them on Friday about noon. And over the course of the weekend, we got 5 leads.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. So one of the things, I want to back up a little bit to what you were saying about AI, because I feel like midlife women are a lot of times afraid of AI, but I like to embrace it. And I did find a company after a lot of research that does create headshots that are very realistic. The ladies I go to lunch with think they're pictures I actually just had taken. They don't know the difference. And those are things that I use for my static post on Facebook. But I like to use the real life things for other things. And I always try to, on Sundays, do a reintroductory post that just reintroduces myself to my audience, to anybody that sees it. And it's got the real life pictures. They may be farm pictures, they may be kids, they may be pool, whatever it is, but actual real life things. Yes, I will share the name of the AI headshot company. I'll drop the link because, and then I'll tell you, let me finish telling you this. I have a professional photographer that we have used for 13 years, and he's extremely good. Like, he's featured in many magazines, and I hired him to come out and do pictures at the farm for my business. And he does drone images too. And it's about $700. And then the time, and 12 grandkids that we have to dress and tell them to talk nice and not fight, and all the things, right? And be like, honey, pull your pants up, and all the stuff you got to do when you're trying to get pictures of the family on the farm, right? And the time, I mean, he's good, but it takes probably 21 days to get everything back. And this AI company, you just turn in your pictures, selfies that you like 7 of them or 6 of them, something like that. It takes about an hour. You can do it from your couch. And I think there's a coupon that I have that goes with it that'll come in. I'll drop the link. It'll be with that. And I think it comes out to like $73 and you get 100 headshots. I didn't love all of them, but I loved more than half of them. And that's just crazy. And then you also can share a link, and you get, like, if I share my link and somebody uses it, then I get 100 headshots for free. And they do seasonal too. So I can just go in and put Halloween pictures and get pictures of me in a witch's hat or as a clown or whatever, all these things. So I'll drop that too. But I do think there's a time and place. Does anybody else here use AI pictures? I'm the only one.
I'm trying, but I can't get any that I'm comfortable that look like me.
Okay, these will then. I will grab this for you. LaShall, do you know any places that are good or that you would refer people to?
I do have one person that I would refer for AI headshots or AI pictures, because she's been doing a really great job of that. I can give you that info too. But we're seeing, I use AI for a lot of not pictures of myself, but pictures of other things. And I use those for my blog posts. I use those for my organic social media posts and that kind of stuff. I have used them for ads before. I've even used some for ads that another person had generated of herself, and they have worked. Now we are hearing that the algorithm is starting to learn what's AI content and what's AI pictures, and that we're hearing that they might not push those as much, which doesn't make as much sense to us because Mark Zuckerberg is all in on AI right now. He's dropping a ton of money into AI. So we're kind of thinking that maybe that's not going to be true in the Facebook world, and they are still going to be posting a lot of AI generated stuff. But we just don't have enough detail there yet.
And
But
so,
I,
LaShall, yeah, in the content that we create, say that you create a social media caption with AI.
yep.
And this is just because I feared that. I feared that that would come around that way. And so what I've done is I take my AI to a certain point where I plug in my ideas and what I want and how I would word it, and then I ask it to reword it correctly. And then instead of correcting it and having it refine it, I take that and put it in and I correct and refine it myself. And so
Mhm.
it's never a true straight out AI anything.
Right. And that's way
so-
better.
Yeah, I
That is
think
way
that
better.
would I'm hoping and praying that that would throw the algorithm to not thinking that it's all AI.
Right, exactly. And then, like, for example, you know how a lot of AI gives you the rocket ship and all of these symbols that they use. If you have those in your content, that's a red flag that AI created those for you. So switch them out to something that you would use, like a check mark or something, you know, like you use a lot of pink check marks in your business. They're branded to your color and that's kind of stuff. So that doesn't scream AI. But anybody who uses that rocket ship, everybody's like, oh, that was AI, you know?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And also I would say on that note to limit it. So I use the pink checks. I use the 3 yellow twinkle stars, the coffee mug, and a pink heart.
Mhm.
And if you see content that has other things on it, it wasn't for me.
Yep.
And it's the simple things. You know, we talked earlier about the simple steps in reaching our audience and things we can do. And I'd like to say that in branding, it's the simple things. I always start my emails with, hey there. If it doesn't say, hey there, it's not from me.
Mhm.
I can assure you. And I have had coaches who have like, please don't start like that. I'm like, why not? Like, why don't you just say hi? It's so much more professional. I'm like, have you met me? So I always introduce myself as, hey there. So find the little things in your brand that you can do that brand it uniquely to you.
Mhm.
And I worked with a dentist recently, created a website for him, and he said, well, this is not what I was expecting. This is not. And I said, okay, show me what you're expecting. And he went, he's like, it's not that hard. And he's getting frustrated. He types in this. He's like, do you see these websites? And he pulls up each one. I said, I do. And he's like, do you see how clean they look and how this? And I said, do you see that all 10 of those look exactly the same?
Mhm.
And so what's going to set you apart from any one of them? Because if I went on there and looked at one of these and then left the page and came back, I wouldn't know which one I went to. And he's like, I didn't think about that. You do. You really need to make sure that you're authentic in what you're doing.
Right.
You need to be so thoroughly authentic. And I think back to what you were saying about automation, when you automate things, and I preach this all the time, when you automate things, it gives you so much freedom. You have time freedom.
Mhm.
You get financial freedom because your business is growing at a faster rate. And you get authenticity freedom because guess what? You're no longer showing up overwhelmed and angry and anxious. You can actually just show up as yourself because everything else is running smooth. And if you were to choose a shopkeeper that you wanted to shop with, would it be the one that's overwhelmed and anxious and on pins and needles because of something else that doesn't have anything to do with you, but still it's there? You can feel it, you can cut it with a knife, like in the air. Or would you choose the one that's happy-go-lucky and happy to be there and vibrantly explaining the brilliance behind their business? And so it's the authenticity. You got to be able to have the freedom by automating to get back to those things so that you
Yep.
can win in those ways.
Yeah, and there's so many other ways we can use AI too. And like you said, it's new for us, right? I'm same age as you. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm going to be 54 years old.
Yeah.
So thank you. So yeah, I mean, chat prompts. I love chat prompts, right? I use them for so much, but I don't use them to throw back out in the world. I use them to help me move forward faster in my business, and like if I'm not sure about something, I go throw it in a chat prompt. I have all of my clients, I have a branding doc that I give them that asks them a zillion questions about their business and everything. I throw that in Claude. Claude's my go-to chat AI. I put that in Claude as a project for each of my clients. And then anytime I'm going to create something for my client, that's in there as a project knowledge doc. And I just tell Claude to reference that project knowledge doc and create me this. And it literally will write me whatever I need in that client's voice, tone. It knows everything about their business because I've programmed it in there to do that. So that's what's really
Yeah.
cool. And it helps me do things a lot faster, and it gives me other ideas.
Okay, LaShall, I'm going to stop you there and I'm going to ask you this. If you're using Claude for, anybody that doesn't know, it's Claude.ai, right? I
Yep.
think that's, if you're using Claude for that, for your projects, what other AI do you use and for what task? And then I'd like everybody to tell us. So if you have something you use and like, I'd love for you to tell us when LaShall's done telling us.
Yeah, so I use Claude for writing. Claude is way better at writing than any other AI out there, because that's how it was programmed. It was programmed by copywriters and programmed to be a writing bot. And you want to use Claude Sonnet. Sonnet is there's two options in Claude. There's Sonnet and there's Opus. So Sonnet is more of the writing Claude. Love him for writing. Then Opus is more of a tech. So like, for example, if I want to, like I was creating an AI agent the other day, and I was having a little trouble struggling with the tech part. So I told him what I was doing and I said, please give me step-by-step instructions. It literally spit out step-by-step instructions on how I needed to set up my Zap and everything. And I saw the piece that I was missing, so that's what I use that for. ChatGPT 5.0 is great at images. I do go and use that a lot and ask it to create images for me to use on social media. It's pretty good. It struggles still with words. So if you ask it to create a picture and the picture has any words in it, look at that really carefully. It doesn't spell things correctly, or sometimes it spells things the way it would in another country. So it kind of gets that wrong sometimes. But if you're looking for just no words, it's pretty darn good. Just count your fingers and toes just to make sure there's 5. And then I like Grok. So Grok was created by Elon Musk. I think that one's a really, really powerful one too. And then Perplexity. And Perplexity is really good at anything automation, anything tech related. So those are like my favorite.
And what do you use Grok for?
Grok I will use for new ideas. It's GROQ, and there's 2 Groks out there. You want the Grok that Elon Musk created.
I see. And on your Claude, what subscription plan are you using?
I use the $5 a month. Gives me everything I need. It's $5 unlimited.
Okay. Anybody else have any AI that they use that they would be interested in sharing? Everybody using all the same stuff?
I use Chat GPT.
Mhm.
That's just a real simple one. It's just, and I do have an AI generated picture that a lady did for me that I do use. But one of the things that I'd like to say about pictures is, boy, if your picture on Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere else is the real you 20 years ago, I just think that's not very helpful. And it's kind of shocking when you actually meet the person. So I think it's really important when you're personalizing yourself that you make sure. And I'm pretty shy about AI generated stuff for myself because I don't want people to have that shock value when they meet me, that I'm looking so different than this gorgeous, no lines, look like I'm 35. So I just won't, I'm okay with being 69 and having wrinkles. I'm okay with that.
Right?
So,
we worked hard to get to this spot in life.
that's right.
That's right.
That's right. But I'll tell you, one of the things that I tend to really struggle with over the last 4 years has been, where do you spend your time? LinkedIn has never really generated anything for me after 2 years of just absolute focus. I started a Telegram channel a couple of years ago, and I'm blown away that I have 3,500 followers, but they're not generating, people that will take the next step. Now, there's just a lot of educational information in there, and I don't every single day ask for them to, I don't put a call in of action every day. But it's just, if you could speak a little bit to that. There's so many places that we can spend our time. Facebook is another one. Never mind for Facebook.
I
Kind of
think Aaron has an answer for that.
Oh, I was just saying in terms of an AI tool. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation with Diana. Diane is talking about. But for your question, Diane, it's really based on where your audience is hanging out in. So really, it's about finding out the right pool. You know how you jump in the pool at King's Dominion or Six Flags or whatever. You know exactly. Okay, it's a lot of people in that pool. Let me come back later, right, where the water is more palatable to your body. So it's about being in the right pools where your people are located. It may not be the LinkedIn's, the Facebook, the IGs, the TikToks. It may be on a forum. It may be in a different group, right? So your people are out there that you want to have go to the next level. You just have to do maybe a little bit more, research for where they're located. That's what I would advise for you to do. And I owe you a text, so I owe you a text. Thank you for checking in with me as well, Diane. The other AI tool I was going to mention real quick since you asked is AI Studio through Google. So this is fairly new. It's not Notebook LLM, but the AI Studio.Google is allowing you, like Michelle is wonderfully explaining, how to write your content when you're stuck. And so I saw that tool yesterday in display how, let's say you have a problem, you don't know your ideal client, you're trying to get the psychographics, right? Not just name, address, phone number, but what are the psychographics of how to get a lead? That thing will help you write it out and actually give you a strategy in like 10 seconds. And then you would use that because you're talking to it as a human now and not as a, someone just trying to get an AI answer. So highly recommend AI Studio through Google. It does use Veo 3, and it also uses another form of Gemini. I think it's 2.5. I'll confirm it. But yeah, AI Studio is good.
I love that. And LaShall, what do you think on that? I'd love to know, Diane, where you are getting your clients from.
So I have an over 40% referral rate. And then mainly with networking groups.
Okay. I love networking groups. LaShall, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask her how she was getting her current ones. So if you're getting most of your clients from networking groups and referrals, then I would say you want to continue to nurture those clients, right? And those avenues, those people that you meet. And you could do that through email marketing and newsletters, right? If you put them in your world and all of the people that you're meeting in all of the networking events, and you're sending them emails every now and then, just reminding them about you. Because if they meet you in a networking event 2 months ago, you want to stay top of mind with them. So just either doing that touch-up text or sending them an email, once a month with, hey, and just kind of what's going on in your world would be very, very helpful.
And even I think even if it's just a newsletter.
Yep.
And exactly. You can be with health tips or things that are new in your world as far as your business. And also, of course, always something new about you personally is always good too. Keeps the curiosity there, drives that curiosity.
Yep. And then you do need to have some kind of social proof out there. So you want to have either a website, you don't have to have a website, but a website, or your Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, one of those profiles kept up to date so that people can go see, okay, yep, she's active, she's real, she's been doing all of these great things. Not that you have to post 7 days a week, but you do need to keep a profile, semi-active and up to date. And just like you said, with current pictures and things like that.
And then of course, with saying you don't have to do it 7 days a week, you don't, but even if you do just 3 days a week, that can be automated.
Yep.
And so that's a good thing. LaShall, will you tell us please about your freebie? What's the gift that you have for our audience today?
Yes. So today I have it's called a 7-day business reset. And it's a wonderful document that really will kind of guide you through answering some questions about your own business. and then help you get some time back. It'll show you chunks of your business where you need to maybe spend a little time and focus on making them better. But it's all about quick wins and things you can do within about 15-20 minutes as you go through the document and kind of rate yourself and score yourself. And it will explain how you can get some quick wins.
Okay, that sounds great. Can you drop that in
Yep.
the chat so everybody can grab it, and then I will get it from the chat also. Does anybody have any questions before LaShall goes into her closing thoughts? Yes, Catherine, go ahead, dear.
I just want to thank you for the invitation. This has been phenomenal for me. And I'm not quite anymore midlife, but I feel most of the time like a 21-year-old.
Well, good. Hey, Catherine, do you know everybody in here or anybody besides me?
From what I've seen, no, not at all.
Okay. Well, would you take a minute and introduce yourself and your business, please?
Oh, sure. Well, my name's Kathy Stuckert, and I have two businesses. I've done some pivoting this year, moving on from emphasis on copywriting that I still use because one of my businesses is that I help people market to law firms. And the other business is that I help people as a writing coach. And also I work a bit as a literary agent, primarily with the entertainment industry in Los Angeles, so that I can advise people how to achieve their own goals. First thing I do is offer a complimentary 30-minute session. Is this the right time for you? And no is perfectly fine. I've reached out to a woman who was just starting a bookkeeping business with a 13-year-old son. She really wanted me to give her direction. And I said, absolutely not at this time. You've got a new business and your son needs you. He's at a tender age. And that was what she wanted to hear. Those were her, but eventually she'll be doing a book. I
Good,
love
good.
memoirs and business books.
Yes, and I've referred quite a few of my clients who are writing a book or interested in writing a book to Kathy. So that's how I know Kathy. I think we met on Alignable, actually.
Correct.
Very good. Anybody have any last questions before I leave it to LaShall to close us? All right, LaShall, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Colleen, for having me here. I'm so grateful that you and I connected and I'm in your world now and see all of the great stuff that you put out there. So I thank you so much. If anybody's interested in learning anything more or needs additional information, what kind of makes my business unique is that I not only just give you the strategy plan, I have a team behind me that helps you implement all of the strategy that we talk about. Whether that's anything from operations, onboarding, marketing, all of that. We are here to help.
Thank you so much, LaShall. All right, you guys, you have a good day. Thank you for coming and attending. And remember that we do this every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And also, if you did not receive an email from me but would like to, I am starting a wake-up call, well, a morning call on Wednesday. It'll be at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to start with a prayer, start with a scripture, and then just talk about our goals and wins for the day. It'll be a short call, but just a good way to start your service-based business out on the right foot and make sure that you're serving those around you with Christ-like love. So if you're interested in joining that, reach out and let me know.
Amen.
Awesome.
Aaron is co-host. I did not know you were still here, Aaron. Sorry.
That's okay.
Aaron's
I'm about to jump. You're
co-hosting
good.
that with me.
You're
So if
good.
you haven't met Aaron, he's from Web Enterprises and he will be co-hosting those calls with me.
Thank
So
you.
Awesome.
You
Thank you,
guys-
everyone.
Have a great
Have
day,
a
everybody.
good day. I hope you have the best day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you, Colleen.